MacVoices is sponsored by Smile and PDF Pen 9, the best way to do more with your PDF documents, including optical character recognition, search and replace, secure redacting, highlighting features, and much more. Get all the details and download a free trial at smilesoftware.com. MacVoices is in San Jose for AltConf and WWDC. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Glenn from Ecamm. Glenn has not been on MacVoices for a long time, and it's about time we caught up. So, Glenn, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you, Chuck.
Yeah, our history goes back to a lot earlier Macworld days. So it's good to see you here at a developers conference.
Well, we're pretty excited to be back at WWDC. It has been a couple years.
Yeah. So what is Ecamm doing currently? And I will say under some kind of heading of full disclosure that I use Glenn's software for almost every non-conference interview that I do. So nice. Having said that, Call Recorder saves my life.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, Call Recorder for Skype turned out to be our main product for several years. And we really kept, there's just, two of us developers, and we kept busy with Call Recorder for Skype. We did the Call Recorder for FaceTime, and our phone view app remains quite popular, and it's kept us pretty busy, just pretty much keeping it working with all the changes Apple's been making to the phone. And but the most exciting thing going on is in the fall, we started a new app, and we launched it last month, and now we're kind of deluged with feature requests, and now we're just figuring out what to do now. And we posted a 1.1 of our. It's called Ecamm Live, and it's a Facebook live streaming app for the Mac. So if you're doing any Facebook live streaming and you don't want to take the plunge into something really super pro like Wirecast, and you don't want the technical aspects of something like OBS, which is the open source free version of Wirecast, I guess you could say, our app comes in at $30, just like our other apps. Totally user-friendly and easy to set up, integrates with Facebook, and lets you start streaming live from your Mac instantaneously. You can do regular video streaming. You can add in text and graphic overlays. You can roll pre-recorded video and share your screen. Those are the key features. And when you're doing the pre-recorded video and the screen sharing, you can bring up your camera in a little picture-in-picture window in the corner, and you can kind of narrate what you're doing.
Okay, so this is interesting. It kind of falls in line with what you've been doing in some ways, but in most ways you've been kind of taking care of what's coming into you. Now you're sending back out. Is that a fair assessment? I guess FaceTime goes both ways.
It's interesting. We didn't really catch this as we were building it, but as we were generating this Ecamm Live app for Facebook streaming, meanwhile, Facebook was adding in the ability to bring in other people into your Facebook Live chat, and that's apparently really popular now. So we started getting requests from people saying, well, what about, you guys are the Call Recorder guys. Can I bring Skype people into my Facebook Live broadcast? And then we started thinking, wait a minute, this is all backwards, maybe these two products should be, really just kind of one and the same. You're doing a Skype chat, maybe that whatever's recording the Skype chat should be doing the Facebook Live broadcast, and we got all confused. So, we're trying to figure out exactly the best way to integrate all those things, because everything just seems to be connected now. People are doing interviews, recording a podcast to post somewhere, but also they want to do a live version of it, maybe for their inner circle, or for everyone to watch kind of the making of the podcast. And everything is just kind of live now. It's a very exciting time.
It is, and as someone who does some of this stuff, I know I look at it and think, okay, this is like the early days of podcasting. I've just got to hold on for 6 to 12 months, and somebody will come out with some of the solutions that solve these questions. And so I'm really intrigued when you say you've released it and you got a deluge of feature requests. Yeah,
the basic features I mentioned is what we ship with: live camera, screen sharing, and rolling video. And we immediately get someone saying, what about scheduling? And we're kind of learning as we go. We're learning a lot about Facebook, let's just say. And if a Facebook Live, you can schedule it. It posts a little announcement in your stream saying so and so we're going to go live at 9 p.m. Click here to get a reminder. And the great part about our app is it's completely integrated into Facebook. You don't have to use Facebook's publishing tools for your live videos or for your scheduling. You don't have to copy and paste RTMP stream keys or anything like that. You just go into our app, you say I want to go live now, or I want to schedule my live, and then you just click go live, and we handle all the rest. We also bring in the comments and reactions right into the app. So one thing people run into when they're going live from the desktop is they kind of have dual screen thing going on. They have their iPad over here with the comments rolling in. So our goal is to bring it all into this one app where you can, because a lot of what we found in doing a live is it's not necessarily like a podcast where there's just two people having a conversation. The comments are rolling in. And I've tried it before, and it's really hard to kind of, it's weird. It's like almost like a one-way video chat where you're seeing comments come in, and then you can be like, oh yeah, and so-and-so is commenting about this, and kind of react to those comments. Even though you can't have perfectly have a conversation with that person, you can kind of have a conversation with the person. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because I've tried some of it, and it's a whole nother set of skills some of us have to develop. Jason Snell and I have talked on this show about being a podcast host, that you and I can be talking, but I've got to be thinking. I've got to be thinking about, is the camera running? What's going to be the next question that I ask you? How long have we been recording? Those kind of things. Here, you've got all that, plus you've now got to react, absorb the comments that are coming in, react. And I don't know if you've run into it yet, but in some cases, edit those comments or block users who are unfortunately misbehaving in a text chat.
Yeah, that makes me think. I wonder if there is some way to block certain commenters from. But it can be it's definitely a multitasking thing, and if you're not paying attention to the comments, that can be construed as a little. People have an expectation that you're going to be paying attention to those comments during your live.
You're asking me for what I think, and then you're ignoring me.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
If you're reading it an hour later, it doesn't really have the same impact.
Right. Looking at call recorder, FaceTime recorder, you all though have a talent, I think, for simplifying things. I mean, call recorder, I hit the button, it just works. Now, there's some settings in there that I need to make so I can get exactly what I want out of it, but in operation, it's pretty seamless. Is that what you're going for with this new software?
Yeah, we don't have we kind of take our inspiration from kind of the old school Apple approach of they don't have settings unless people our philosophy is if people are going to see a setting like a checkbox or thing and they're not going to know what it means, it shouldn't be in the app. So if they go, should I check this or not? Well, no, that shouldn't be in there because no one's going to know what that is. So our Ecamm Live app does not have a pref panel. That's our goal. We have some options, and there was one we put in. We probably shouldn't even put it in because nobody knows what it does. So we want everything to be front and center. We can't, and our kind of our new rule now is we can't have anything that's discoverable. That's kind of there was the New York Times article about that last week about Apple adding things that no one can find. I don't know if you saw that. And they're actually talking about the sticker in the messaging app feature, where they added this iMessage apps and nobody could even figure out how to use them, or Force Touch, for example. Now when we're designing our app, we're like, okay, if we make our feature a little bit hidden, no one is ever going to find it. And with the Ecamm Live, there's a really interesting thing we run into is sometimes people will send us will tweet about that they're trying our app, and we click through and we can watch them trying our app in real, not always in real time, but like a camera pointed at them and they're trying our app. So it's like user feedback testing, and it'll be frustrating because we're watching them and they're going, if only there was a way to do such and such, and we'll be like, there is, you just don't see it.
Which is that is interesting because it's probably one of the first times you've ever had that opportunity to see real people trying to figure out how to use your app and take advantage of the features you've built into it.
Yeah, and something as simple as our app, we made it insanely easy to add overlays, like text and graphic overlays to your live. You just drag an image in, and there it is. And then to resize it, you can use the little pinch and zoom gesture and to resize the overlay. But guess what? That's hidden. You wish that was not hidden, but it's hidden. People don't know to drag it in, and they don't know. Like we sit there, like I said, we watching someone drag in an overlay in their live, and they're like, "Damn it, it's too big. If only there was a way to make it smaller." And they don't know to use the pinch. So it's.
See, I don't consider that a hidden feature, though. I consider that learning curve.
Well, neither did we, but it is. When you have 5 minutes to make your case, maybe they're trying the demo, and they're not going to read any sort of a manual. You have those 5 minutes to sort of indoctrinate someone and show them what your app can do and how powerful it is. And if they're not seeing that, you may have lost that chance.
And that's a real challenge, because we're all into this instant gratification thing, and I think it's getting worse because we all want, the utilities that will take the photo of you and just isolate one color. We just want one button that'll do that instead of going through these 25 Photoshop functions to do it. And I'm no better than the rest. That's what I want to do because at some point I want the effect, but I'm not willing to invest 10 or 15 minutes in doing it or learning how to do it.
Yeah, and we want our apps to be easy and quick, and we don't want people to have to read a manual. So now we know. Now we kind of tried to solve that by adding a button right there on the screen for overlays. So if you're not necessarily finding some other way to add an overlay, well, there's a button, and that's kind of your way. So we can actually have multiple ways to do something in hopes that you'll at least find one of them.
Yeah, that's true, and that's got to feel like a bit of a compromise to you because you were trying to make it so seamless, and now you've got to add something else to the interface.
Yeah.
But people have to be able to find it too.
Yeah, and I mean, with what you mentioned, our call recorder apps, there's 3 buttons. There's record, stop record, there's settings, and there's the button to reveal your saved calls. And we try to use that as a model. Those are the 3 things you might want to do. We don't clutter it up. We try to keep it really simple. And our goal is always to just sort of automate everything from end to end. So you don't have to. There's no configuration step. Hopefully, the install process. When we started doing our apps, the standard way to install something, like a plugin or something, was to use Apple's installer. And I don't know if you remember this, like you double click it and then it asks you something, and then it's accept, and then it's choose your disk. And there's only one. Right. And the other's like a read-only disk, but it still shows it. Like, you're going to pick your read-only disk or your not read-only disk? Which one do you want? Well, let's see. It's the one that's not a CD-ROM. It's so stupid. And you click like 7 times to install something. And I think they kept it this way. Like, it's like you don't see that installer very often. But so our first thing that we did was write our own installer with one button, install. It's kind of been our philosophy all along. And
it shows. And the fact that we're even having this part of the conversation shows that you're still focused on that. It's a challenge, and to hear you be frustrated with a user who's saying, gee, I want to do this, and it's built in, they just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it frustration with the users necessarily. No. More just like, us learning. We're learning all the time, and we're just learning, that when you hide it, when you make a feature that's not obvious, you're missing a huge part of your user base who's not necessarily. We found that anything that involves dragging can't be the only way to do something, because there are just certain Mac users that don't drag. They've just never noticed dragging. It's just something that they're, for whatever reason, if it's something that the only way to do it is dragging, they're not going to find it. It's just not. You can't rely on dragging, I guess is what we learned.
It's always fascinating to watch anyone use their Mac or their PC or their iPhone or whatever, all the little idiosyncratic things that you and I would look and say, but you can do it so much faster this way, but that's not in their wheelhouse. And so you have to address that somehow as a developer.
It's fascinating.
So I want folks to go check this out. So is there, like with Call Recorder, is there a demo version that you can use?
Yeah, we use the same model, mostly out of laziness. There's a 7-day trial that gives you a full-featured version of the app, and it adds a little Ecamm watermark to the corner since it's the demo. And then if you like it, it's a one-time fee of $30. We thought about, adopting the subscription model that a lot of software companies are using now, like a monthly fee or a yearly fee. We decided to stick with the one-time fee, and just like all our other apps, there's free updates just forever. We're not going to charge you for an update to the app. We'll always, as long as we're supporting that app, you'll always be able to come back to our customer center page, and if you're a customer, and download the latest version of Ecamm Live.
That's great. The website where they go to download it is?
It's ecamm.com, ECAMM.com.
Glenn, let's not make it so long in between times. This has been great.
Yeah, it's really great to see you in person.
Well, and you too. We missed what we had, but hey, we've got something new here, so we'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun here, and I hope you are too.
Definitely. It's good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Folks, we'll have more from AltConf and WWDC in San Jose. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.